Hey, everybody, welcome to another Monday edition of Paranormal Question of the Day. My name is Darren, and we'll get to the question right after the intro. Hey, everybody, my name is Darren once again, and Taryn will be joining us just in a momentarily. He is just coming in the room. We are live, Taryn.
Hi.
Last minute adjustments.
For sure. I'm still painting, so
It's a
look,
never.
I have paint everywhere.
Oh, jeez. It's a never-ending feat, though, isn't it?
It is. But it's looking a lot better out there, so
Well, there you go.
oh,
So today's question is,
hi Patty, Patricia.
so if you want to try new experiments, what is the new experiments that you want to try in a paranormal field and why? That is the question.
It's a good question.
There are many different reasons why as to I'll let you take care of the
Hi
comments there.
Craigie. I know. Paint everywhere.
So my reason is because I want to stand out and be different. I don't want to do anything the same like you see on the shows all the time. The one thing that I'm itching to do is when I go to Edinburgh Manor in May is that I would like to get my plasma ball out, the plugged one or the battery operated one, and just kind of see what the spirits would take to it. If
Mhm.
it's something that they would be into, is it something that they might be afraid of? Who knows? It might draw something more out, you know. What is the new experiments that you want to?
Sorry, you can hear me. Here. Okay, go ahead.
That's okay.
All right.
So that's kind of one of the stuff that I'm kind of working on. I've already tried doing a tarot session with the spirit, and that was interesting when you
Do you
hook
know
up.
how to do I'm assuming you know how to do the tarot cards?
No, I do not do tarot cards. A friend of mine, she was doing it. And we did an
Oh,
experiment.
okay, you guys did it together.
Yep, we did it together. We did it for our school, and I asked her. I said, "Hey, have you ever done a tarot reading for a spirit?" And she's like, "No." I says, "Well, let's give it a try. See what happens." And it was quite interesting what came out. Some good EVPs, and it was quite interesting. It changed the mood in a room a little bit.
Hmm.
So
Now, do you think it changed the mood in the room because it was something unfamiliar with some people?
I think
And
so. I think so, and I don't think a spirit is you know if it's an intelligent spirit, maybe they're not sure how to take it and go about it.
right.
You know.
Well, yeah, I mean that's why I have, like the out of the trigger props that I have, I have a train, you know, so not like a REM pod or something like that, like, or EMF, the
Hmm.
trains have been around forever. Everybody knows what a train is. So I mean, if the place is occupied by a supposed, civil war or revolutionary war, you know, they're going to know what a train is. They're not going to be, oh, I can do this too, Darren. Look,
Oh, okay.
I can
Yep.
do it. I didn't
Okay.
realize I could do it. Okay.
So, but I mean, some things are just triggers, and you just don't know. Um, it, for
Hi, Dustin.
hello, for somebody that maybe that their favorite thing was when they were alive was listening to thunderstorms. So maybe setting off like a fake thunderstorm on your phone or a heavy rainfall could be a different trigger and might cause more interaction. You know what I mean? It's the simple things versus using all the paranormal gear.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times though that the idea of a thunderstorm is from the thunder, the lightning, the electricity, the water.
Right.
I think that's so if it's for it being real.
Mm.
I think that's what can kind of like the night that we were at Selma Mansion when I got that whistle and everything on the live feed. There was a pretty bad thunderstorm there. You
Right.
know, um, and that night at Selma, that was the most night that I ever had any like the most activity there was the
Yeah.
night of the thunderstorm.
Right. And like I said, just the smallest things could do big triggers. It could really set the mood and the tone of the night.
Yeah.
Um, and it could be locations. I mean, it all depends what you come out of it. I mean, for some school that I know of that's got Indian burial grounds that's built on top of. Now if you start talking about Indians and stuff like that and the natives, and you never
Kevin! Oh
you
my
never know.
gosh. This is my heart. This is like my heart, Kevin. I love Kevin. He is my heart for sure.
Welcome to the show. So, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, sometimes the Indians don't like it that buildings have been built on top of their Indian burial grounds, and they want to lash out or say something what they want to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's when the land isn't being taken care of is when Indian spirits tend to be a little bit more, they come off as aggressive, but they're just angry because the land isn't being taken care of. So,
Right, right.
I mean,
Or
it could be, yeah,
it could be something wrong that's not built on there that they don't agree with.
right.
I in the town I live in, we have a mental hospital that's actually built on top of in the burial grounds.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
got to be,
it's huge. It's a massive mental hospital.
and it's still active? Like, I
Yep,
mean, it's still operating?
yep,
Operating?
still operating. Yep, I'm waiting for it to not be operating anymore because I've heard so many wild stories about it. Some people um, have been in there for suicide attempts, and they were stuck in one hall for overnight and stuff. And he said that he was like more scared being in that room than being attempting suicide, because he said he heard so many different voices in that
Yeah, but
hall.
think about, are you talking about this was a patient?
Yeah, yeah,
We were just talking about this I was just talking about this with somebody else because I'm saying like you think about if it's a mental institution, they're on a lot of medications.
oh yeah.
So who's to say like what it is that they're really feeling
What's
or seeing, or if they, I mean, especially if it's still an up and running one, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, this has been going on before the 1900s. So, and it's kind of rated one of the worst ones in the state as far as people taking care of other patients and stuff. So it's got
Yeah.
a bad reputation. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, and when I go out there one of these years when it's abandoned and I can get in there. But I'll definitely try some stuff with the land and see what come out of it.
I mean, there is such a thing as a healthy provoking.
Oh yes,
Provoking is a
absolutely.
dead word. Provoking is like has such a negative connotation attached to it. But you can have a safe and non-aggressive or negative way to help maybe kick up some energy. I mean, who I'm having on the show on Wednesday, the Kling brothers,
Hmm.
they had a show called The Ghost Lab, and it was this traveling. Like inside in their van, they had all the tech stuff and everything like that. But they would actually go into buildings and like if it was Civil War era, they would play the Civil War music, or they would if it was a building where they made clocks and stuff like that, they would bring clocks in and they would start playing clocks, or they would make it sound like a party's going on if it was a ballroom, stuff like
Right,
that. And
right.
to me, that's safe and okay to do.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
You're
I
giving
mean,
the
you're just
kids
warming
some,
them up a little bit,
yeah, or you're giving them something familiar and comfortable.
right? And sometimes they will come out and just are willing to talk. I mean, who knows? You might solve a crime for heaven forbid if something ever to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which that's hopeful thinking, but it'd feel good if you did solve something that was like a 15 or 50-year-old crime.
Hi, Nighthawk.
Hey, Nighthawk, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Using props and shrubs is very good to use. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I just don't think you can really rely on the results of all that.
Hmm.
Taryn, living in New Jersey, did you ever hear of Marlboro Sanitarium? It's closed now, but that place is crazy. I worked in a home that transferred people from there. No, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to look it up because I think I'm watching the weather,
Hmm.
and I think next week I'm going to have every day I'm going to do like a day trip somewhere and go live.
There you
Um,
go.
and one place I'm hoping will be Gettysburg. I got to look up and make sure. And then Batstow Village, which is in the Pine Barrens, and maybe this place I'll check out.
There you go.
And then there's another place near me as well. So there's a couple places I can go to check out. But I've never heard of this place. Actually, I don't know where it's at. Anyway, I'll have to look it up.
I'll have to highlight that one and take a look at that because I got a buddy of mine that lives out in New Hampshire and stuff.
Hmm.
So, so does anybody have any experiments that they want to bring out to light that they want to try they haven't tried yet during a
I have
paranormal
an I have
investigation?
I have an experiment that people can try that I tried for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I am in love with it. Um, Ron Yacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez, they do this thing called a DRV. It's
Hmm. Never heard of that one.
DRV where it's so they have like a radio that is on a frequency that no other radio waves are connected to
Okay.
in the entire world. So like there's no radio, using that frequency to
Spelt words.
or anything. It's just white noise. That's all it is.
Right. Right.
And he hooks it up to. He's explained this to me so many times, and I was live the entire time we were doing it, and he explains it on the live. But he
Okay.
hooks it into something, and then he has like speakers and stuff like that, so we can hear what it's
Okay.
saying. But the second he hooks it up, all of a sudden you start hearing words. And if you're hearing words, where are they coming from?
Right. Right. I mean, if there's no generated word bank in there, I mean that's a
Yeah.
positive thing because a lot of those devices do have a generated word bank.
Oh, cool. Trace, well, if I go out to Batstow, maybe you can meet me out there. Um, yeah, so that's one of them. Yeah, I brought Roscoe one time to an investigation. It was the night at Selma. And I felt bad because I felt bad putting him in that situation because he was being, I mean, I have it on video and everybody saw it. He was clearly being, I don't know, like picked. It almost seemed like he was being picked on, or
Oof.
maybe his reaction because he didn't see anything,
Hmm.
was like it seemed that way. I mean, it startled him, but it almost looked like something might have, poked his butt because he turned around really quick and he ran out of the room. And then he was another time ran out of the room. And you could just tell that he was reacting to something that we couldn't see, you know?
Right.
And I felt afterwards, I felt really bad about it. Like, cause he doesn't know any better. I'm bringing him into the situation who we theorize, dogs and animals and cats can have their sensitivity levels or
Oh yeah, absolutely.
right.
I mean, they stare at a wall sometimes for no reason and bark or you know meow. I mean, it's or my cat. He sometimes goes up to the wall and starts scratching at the wall, and there's like nothing there. I'm like, what are you scratching at? What's getting your attention?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. And then, so it kind of bothered me a little bit, but then, and then I had Jason Halls on and I asked him about the dog and he said, yeah, or no, maybe it wasn't Jason Halls. It was somebody. Oh, and who it was? It was Tim Mail who does
Oh,
the
okay, yeah.
potographs for pooches. And I asked him if Murray had ever gone on an investigation with him. And he made a really good point about it, about saying, putting Murray in that type of a situation, him not knowing and,
Hmm.
stuff like that. And it made sense to me because I was feeling bad about it.
Right, right. He actually lives across the bridge from me.
And, oh, Tim Mail?
Yeah,
Oh, he's so awesome.
yeah,
And,
he's a cool guy.
um, and, I'm not knocking anybody that does it because Nighthawk says that he does use his dog, but I mean he may have a different way about doing things to protect the dog, and you know
Hmm.
what I mean, and stuff like that. And I mean if it's something that you're used to and you're working with.
Right. I mean, you can only, it's like police, taking their dogs and trying to help solve crimes.
Our team has several artist types. We've started drawing sessions with spirit. Mm,
There you go. I mean, that's a good tactic. I mean, friends of mine like to use they're from REP Paranormal, and they use a Essa sketch,
mm.
and they try to use that, and they've had a couple times where it did turn and make a few lines or whatnot, but it didn't make words or anything, but it actually moved and did stuff.
um oh, somebody's asking, like auto writing. Cat, they're asking if it's like auto writing. Um, that's a good thing. What
Yeah.
frequency, although it was no radio, could have been range that other devices use? Yeah. So it's the frequency was like 222, and
Never heard of that before.
nothing, nothing is, according to, if you go back and watch my live from Kreischer Mansion, I have Ron Yacovetti explain the whole entire process of what he's doing before we started doing the EVP session and everything.
Okay. People can
Uh,
find that on your page yet, right?
yeah, it's on Paranormal Brew. It's on the YouTube. It's on, it'll say, it's live. It was a 5 hour
Yeah,
long.
I remember that. It was long.
It was long.
So
Hi, Ian.
tune into
Ian.
Paranormal Brews YouTube channel for that. That'll be
Yeah.
interesting for you guys to watch.
Ian, King Voodoo. He's in a band, and I love their band, their music. That's who does. I have them in my. They're the music for my video, but
Okay.
um, he's in the UK, so
Very cool.
it is 8 o'clock there. He's. Are you?
Wow. Thank you
Thank.
for joining us for the show today.
Yeah. And Kat answered, Tracy. Yep, just a little different, but intuitively connected.
Yeah. Hey, Kat, how you doing?
Oh yeah, so I would love to see you. Yeah, I would love that. I mean, I need to do more, learn more ways to do that because I'm so bad at it. I never do it.
Have you tried the SS method?
I did. I tried
What do
the
you think
SS
about
method
that?
early on. I did it with SRS Paranormal when we were investigating Wildwood Sanitarium in New York.
Yep.
Um, they have SRS Paranormal. Matt and Al, like I think they both, Matt Sorge. He may have the videos up either on their YouTube or on their pages, but definitely. I was sitting in a tub. I honestly don't remember some of the things that they showed me afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember like saying them or doing them.
Well, you can
But
get that trance state of mind where you just kind of lose yourself sometimes, I think.
so now the Estes method is cool. However, again, when I went to Kreischer Mansion, they did it a different way.
Okay.
So it was still the same thought process. Now I don't know exactly how it was all connected,
Mm-hmm.
but so there was 4 people involved. Okay, everybody else that was there for the investigation was all together on the first floor, and then one person went down to the basement, and one person went up to the third floor. The two
Okay.
people that separated, with the one that went down to the basement and the one out to the floor, had this like headset on with a mic,
Yep.
and they were hearing the white noise there.
Okay.
Now
So
they
they
were
kind of had the app like into their phone and all that stuff going.
maybe I didn't see the connection there,
Okay.
or how it was hooked up, but they didn't need blindfold because nobody went down there with them. She was down there by herself, then the other girl was upstairs by
Hmm.
herself, and then their phones were Bluetooth to these speakers that were on tables where everybody else was at. And I
Okay.
was writing down what the one person was saying, and there was somebody else writing down what the other person was saying. And then everybody around us was just asking questions. Now they couldn't
Interesting.
hear us because they were so far away from us that they couldn't hear us asking questions or anything.
Right.
And a lot of the answers that came back were right after we asked questions and kind of validate, like went along with the history. Now one could argue, oh, they must have seen that stuff walking through the house, but how did they know to say the name of the man that lived there
Hmm.
when we asked it?
Right. Right.
They could just shoot out Charlie whenever. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
How was it? Sorry, I thought I heard something in my house. But how would it be, right at that exact moment? Like, what is your name? And then you hear somebody right away answer, like, Charlie.
Right.
Like, why would they pick that a precise moment to do it?
Yeah.
So that was interesting because that was the first time I did that.
That's a interesting concept because the ones that I'm used to is where the same person is in the room, the other person has a headset on, but they got uh the S box or spirit box in their phone going into their ear, so that bleeds out the other person asking questions. So when they ask questions and then whatever comes through and they say it, what comes through, then that's where the communication goes with there. So that's another way the only way I've really seen it. And then of course with the blindfold, sensory deprivation, and all that stuff. So
So William Nighthawk says best results with Estes I found is using a red light. And then Kat asked what I would ask. Interesting. What does the red light do for it? Which
mhm.
I haven't heard. He said the spirit can draw energy from the red light to be stronger and more focused. But maybe the red light because you're in the dark and you're taking pictures. I don't know. Why would it have to be a red light?
That's interesting. I've
Yeah.
never heard of that either.
Yeah, I wonder if Matt and Al, because like they were the first ones I ever did that with. So I feel like, that's why I always go back to them with, that experiment because that was the first time I ever did it.
Hmm. Maybe bring up the red light to them and see what they might have to say about that.
For sure. Yeah.
So, let's see. The other thing too I thought of, have you ever heard of water deprivation?
No. That sounds like it's not fun.
Okay, so have you seen like Stranger Things?
I haven't.
Okay. So Stranger Things is where this girl, okay, she's very smart and whatnot, can see out but beyond everybody. They put her in this water, okay? It's sealed, all right? So she's not drowning, but she's sealed in like this tank of water.
Hmm.
And what it is it's pushing out different senses of what's going on in the location and all sorts of different things. So it's kind of like um you're bringing out spirits that way. So if you have a communication with the water, water's energy, right? So with that water creates that energy, it creates that connection where that connection is possibly bringing out the spirits in that location. So the water deprivation that the paranormal field, I think, does, and quote me if I'm wrong, is where a lot of people get like tubs of water, sometimes ice water, and then they lay in there, not drowning, but they lay in there and it brings out sort of spirits, the same concept kind of way. It's one of those things that I will never try, but I'll have somebody else be a guinea pig and try.
Right.
But
Tracy's right. Water's an amplifier. Like whenever there's running water or like streams and water nearby. But and again, that brings us back to the raining and the thunderstorms and everything. You know what
correct,
I mean?
correct.
So yeah, I mean, water is definitely a conduit, or if you will.
Hmm.
But
Same thing with limestone. I mean, you ever go to a location? This is another one I was thinking of. Is okay, you go to a location, all right? They have no water, no river, no stream, no limestone, no nothing by it, or even like black salt. Okay, you put all those things in a jar, little bits of things in a jar like that, and bring it to a location and open them up. I kind of wonder what happens, if that will open up the energy in the location a little bit more, or will that hamper the location as to what's going on and things will close up. I'm not quite sure.
Kat says, so now I'm curious, do spirits react differently if you light the room with different colors, blue, green, purple? I'm not sure. That's a good experiment, maybe.
That's a full spectrum type deal too. And Cat knows what full spectrum is.
I
So
have I have this light that I fall asleep to every night, and it has every single color you can think of. I might bring that to my next one and see if I do get different, or if we do get, maybe activity with one light as opposed to the next.
hmm that's a very good experiment to try.
From what I experienced, yes, when you wear blindfolded and you have red light in front of you and listening to white noise, you will get a more enhanced result. I wonder why though. I don't understand if you're
You might be opening up the situation a little bit more by doing that.
blindfolded. What does the red?
Blindfolded, you do. You open your senses a lot more.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at Andrea Bocelli. I mean, if you're, when you lack one sense, it helps. It amplifies all the rest of your senses when
Hmm.
you're not having one sense. This was one of my questions one night. Like, if you had to get rid of one, like if you had to choose between never hearing again or never seeing again, which
Hmm.
one would you choose?
Oh, well, I'd like to
Oh,
see, so I'll get rid of my hearing.
I think I'd rather have my hearing, only because I want to be able to hear things. I want to be able to hear music. I want to because also, uh, you know, or was it? I forget what the question was, because some people were saying that they would keep their touch, the
Hmm.
feel, their sense of touch.
Right.
So maybe it was you could only keep one. Okay, I'd have to look back at it, but
Well, see,
either way, what if
yeah,
you had to choose just one to keep?
yeah. Well, see, with me, I mean, I'm blind in my right eye. Okay,
Mhm. Like
so
completely blind?
I can only see out of the corner out of it.
Okay.
So, and then I have retinal tears in both my eyes.
Mhm.
So when I go to investigations, a lot of times I do rely on my senses, like the sense of smell, the sense of hearing, the sense of feel, versus, because sometimes I won't catch a shadow figure like other people will catch them real fast. Sometimes I'll be able to catch them, but it's not too often. If something rushes me, it's probably gonna be on top of me before I even realize it.
Right.
But I found that my sense of smell is, again, really big, and I've told you about this. What my sense of smell is. Since having COVID, my sense of smell has been a lot stronger.
Which is
Uh,
surprising because most people lose their sense of smell.
right. And I've been on an investigation where we were at this. You've heard of the Sheboygan Asylum? I'm not sure if on TV or not, but we were at the Sheboygan Asylum, and we were in this one section. It was I'm not sure if it was the nurses' wing. It could be a different wing, but I was standing straight still, and next thing you know, I'm smelling this really tough, strong, perfumey smell going on. And I'm like, well, what is going on here? And then as I move, because there's no one standing next to me to the left or to the right, but I was smelling this perfume. And as I was moving, it was moving with me. and I would move more, and it would move with me again. And finally, it just kind of moved on. And then it happened to another guy on the other side of the room. And we come to find out it's like a nurse that used to be there. That was their perfume smell that they gave off.
Oh, wow.
So that was a very interesting thing to happen. And I'm like, that's something I'll never forget.
Hmm.
So it's like when people go into, you know, if you go to a bar, you're going to smell cigarette or cigar smoke. But if you go to a location, you still get that. Well, there you go. There's a paranormal effect there that you're smelling something that's not even going on.
Yep. It's just like I was on a live, was that last night or night before, whatever. We were talking about I said how I smell sulfur, or like
Hmm.
whatever, at one time again, and right away somebody's like, "Oh, if you ever smell that, run." I'm like, "Yeah, but it can be gunpowder, and being in Gettysburg, a place like that, that's just what I've attributed it to, was it was gunpowder."
Right.
Um,
It could mean a lot of things. It just all depends on what location you're at.
yeah. Another smell I smell in Gettysburg a lot is honey or like sap from a tree.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um,
They
and
probably
I did
tapped a lot to get something that's there if they need some.
Well, I did some digging and I'm like, why would I be smelling sap, or
Mhm.
honey or sap or something? And I did dig it, and I had to look in a couple of places, but I did find that um some of the soldiers would use it to close wounds if they didn't have
Yep,
bandages.
yep. I was gonna say
Never
that,
knew
but I
that.
was waiting for you to say it.
It could be gunpowder. Yes, absolutely. Gunpowder. Thank you, Sandy. That's what I said. I said no. I said I I'm not running from that smell because one, I never get a bad impression in Gettysburg, but two, like I said, I think it's gunpowder. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. With the history you got there, yeah,
And
it can be.
speaking of experiments, when we went out there one time, the guys, we were at the 20th Maine monument, and um, they got the Al and Matt got out. I was there, SRS Paranormal, and Al and Matt got out cigars
Okay,
and offered a cigar. Like said, "Hey,
right.
do you guys want you know do you guys want a cigar? We have tobacco, smoking
Hmm.
tobacco." Um,
Which is very popular back in the day too with them.
right. So now I I got to get the audio together. It was just one thing. After I'm done painting my freaking railing on my deck, um, I have to go through my audio, and one of the things is when they were so it was Matt and Al were the only two guys there, and
Hmm.
they were getting the box out to get the cigars out, and you know Matt said, "Is that the box?" And then I heard the box, and Al said, "Yeah, that's the box." So I stopped them. Now this is
Hmm.
on audio. I stopped the recorder right after that and rewound it, and it was there. They were like, "Holy shit, your ears are awesome!"
Well,
But
especially being out there, I mean, it's a lot of open space.
so you know, right then and there, like I was like, "Did somebody just say the box?" And they said, "No, no, no." And I said, "Somebody else said the box. There's another male voice." And we
Hmm.
listened back, and they were like, "That's so awesome." So I feel like they were interacting. Just that alone, that's
Right.
an experiment. When you go to a place, I mean, think about what it is, where you're at and where you're going to. You
Right.
know, if you're going to a mental asylum, maybe bringing you know if you look up the history and you find out that there's like one nurse that was like trying to help kids or something like that, you could always wear like a nurse hat or a nurse or a
Hmm.
jacket and say you're here to help, and it depends,
Right. Right.
right?
There's actually a place about 45 minutes away from me. It's a school, a convent, and a church all in a row.
I
And
agree, Sandy.
I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna get in this convent and I'm gonna investigate the convent. But I was thinking about bringing a nun's hat and a oh, what do you call it?
Oh my gosh.
What? Oh, what is those crosses that they call them? I can't think of it. Different word in that they use for crosses with the braid around it. What do you call that?
Different. Wait. Oh, you mean the
I mean, not just bring an original cross, but they have
the the palm from the palm tree
yeah. Well, the cross that has the braids around it. What do you call those?
rosaries.
That's it. That's I can't think of the word. Thank you. So yeah, I was gonna bring a nun's hat and a rosary along with me and see what I can stir up out there. Not to be, disrespectful or nothing, but just to say, hey, okay, I have these items here, just to see how you feel about it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's all about intent and how you go about things in investigation when you bring items and do experiments, and that's what makes this field so interesting and so wide open because you don't have to limit yourself just to one experiment. You can do various different experiments. You could be scientific, you could be just with props, you can be with just whatever you want to go with it.
The marble and the glass. Never heard of it.
Mm, no.
Maybe if you can elaborate there, Paranormal Brew, whoever that is.
Now, who would that be, Taryn?
Well, everybody.
Could it be Dom?
I have everybody on BB3 TV on there, but I also have Brian from Parapost, and because he'll stream through the lens on to Paranormal Brew.
Okay.
So it could be him too. But
so, is there any more experiments anyone want to bring up before we start bringing the show to a close?
I mean, sometimes like experiments can just be as little as putting baby powder down on the floor if you can. If you're in a
Absolutely. Catch
location
footsteps.
that you can do that,
But there's the thing is with that is that there are some places that really don't want you to use that because it creates such a mess. And
It
I
is
was
fine.
I was told in a few places that no, we don't allow that because it's a mess. And that's even if I offer to vacuum it up and clean it up as much as possible and make it shine, no, we don't allow it. So, but that is a good old school experiment.
Yeah. I love that. I love that experiment. Well, yeah, because I mean, but I do that where people have said that they've seen like footprints left, which is rare. Like there was an old house, old house, like late 1700s, and they had just had the floors refinished. And the workers went to lunch, like they did their last coat of whatever they have to put over the wood floors or whatever. They go to lunch, they come back, and there was a single footprint in the center of that floor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this was a family of mine, so when they got freaked out and sent the picture, and they're like, "What the heck? How could this happen? There's nobody at the house. Nobody. How could there just be one foot?" And there, it was a legit. I wish I could find the picture because they sent it to me, but legit one footprint.
Or else none. I mean, and that brings up a story to a friend of mine. Her son stayed out at this one's house, which is called Cambry House and Farm. If you guys don't know about it, it's an awesome place. He stays out there a lot by himself, and he was going to the house, and he was far enough away from it. It's like he saw somebody standing right next to the house. So then he's like, okay, I'm gonna run at this person and gonna try and scare him off the property. So he went in the house real quick and came back out, and he went right back to the spot where that spirit was or person was that he thought it was, and it wasn't there. And he looked down, and there was snow on the ground. There was no footprints at all.
Wow.
At all. So yeah, it freaked him out big time. So well, this is a very good episode here, and lots of great ideas from everybody in the chat, Nighthawk and Kat, and thank you guys for joining us with the show today.
Yeah, if anybody else has any experiments that they've been trying, there is a group, CPRI.
I heard of them.
Yeah, so that's all they do. They get a location, and actually they focus just on one area of a location most of the times, is what he said when I had him on. His name's Brad Bradley. um, they'll focus on one particular area that has the most activity, and they will decide before going what they're going to do, and it's always an
Hmm.
experiment. Um, so there's a lot of that, the information on their page. Um,
Right, right.
you know, to show all the experiments they do. They go to a lot, and they are only government requested ex- investigations that they do. So they work
Oh,
with, yeah, they work with like the National Park Service, anything like that, where they want them to come in. So they are actually being contacted by the NPS, or whoever, to come into these government owned buildings or government owned properties and stuff like that to do these experiments. So they do probably 10 a year, maybe.
hmm.
So
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe they got some Area 51 or Area 52 out there with that stuff.
Oh, thanks, Kat.
So, Taryn, do you have anything upcoming you want to bring out or promote?
Yeah, so okay, so my schedule got all crazy messed up. This week I was supposed to have the JFK conspiracy thing, but um, one of the gentlemen, Brian Cantu, he was going to be on the panel.
Hmm.
He now obviously I'm booked through June, so obviously my shows get booked out far. This was one of those shows.
Hmm.
He is graduating. Oh my gosh. He is retiring from the military this week.
Oh, okay.
So he's got family coming in, and whatever. I did have to remove somebody from the panel as well, and that
Hmm.
knocked it down. And then Brad Kling, I spoke to yesterday on the phone, due to some scheduling stuff, and the subject, which
Okay.
I
Oh,
can't
okay.
which I can't disclose reasons why.
Hmm.
He told me, but I told him I wouldn't say anything. But he was able to still come on, but not talk about JFK.
Oh, and that's
He
people got
said
to.
he said later on. So we moved the JFK thing to June 1st,
Okay.
and then I have Brad and Barry Kling coming on Wednesday, which I'm super excited about. The
Okay.
Ghost Lab. Well, they were Ghost Lab, but they're doing so many new things now, so they're going to come on and talk about that.
Sweet.
Uh, yeah, I'm so happy about that. Brad and Barry Kling. Now, Brad said he was going to ask Barry, so I'm not 100% sure Barry will be there, but I'm pretty sure he will. So that would be awesome to have both of them on. They're the best. I love them.
All
Um,
right. Where can people find you, and what time is your show on?
well, people can find me here, Paranormal Brew. I'm also Power Post Network, YouTube. I just learned TikTok, so I'm still new on there, so I have no idea what I'm doing. But I
You're
am,
on
but
TikTok.
Paranormal Brew is on TikTok.
Hey,
um,
I'm trying that too, so I have no reason to laugh.
and let me see. So yeah, I have a couple of things come up. I have after that's duodemonology, and then I think I have an investigation at White Hill, investigation at Strauss Mansion after that. And like I said, I'm booked up till June 15th, which is there. Dustin Parry is
Oh,
June
okay.
15th. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
You're a
it's
busy girl.
it is busy. Yes, I'm busy.
Not much going on for me right now. Tonight at 7, 6 Central on Paranormal Buzz Radio, I have a show called The Paranormal Bus Stop, which I have Cynthia Gerodius, Shay Carroll, and Ashley Storm. And we talk about all things paranormal in a roundtable format. So if you want to go to Spreaker.com, get yourself a free account, get inside the chat and have a lot of fun. And they're very interactive in the chat. So in tonight's show, we're going to be talking about moving spirits on. So,
Sorry. My apologies. Thank you, Tom. That's why
hey,
I love
Tom.
you. That's why I love you. Um, Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what it is, Central Pacific or Mountain, but it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
6, yep, 6 Central, yep. And then, I believe, uh,
And once in a while,
5
I'll throw some
o'clock,
extras in there.
yeah, 5 o'clock, Pacific time. So anyway, so with that, with the Paranormal Buzz Radio announcement there, I do have some announcements for paranormal investigations coming soon, but I have to get clearance before I add those in. And with that, and Taryn and I, we both bid you adieu and have an awesome Monday and come back Wednesday. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Get to the MGS Paranormal YouTube channel when you get a chance, and Paranormal Brews. And
Oh, I might not be here Wednesday. What time are you doing it?
2 o'clock.
So I think I have like I'm taking a class.
Okay.
Uh, it's gonna sound kooky, but I want to try it. It's learning how to communicate with animal spirits and stuff.
There's nothing kooky about it because I know a lot of people that do it.
So I think it is Wednesday, and I feel like it's during the like I think it's like 11 to 2 maybe. So I'll have to check it and I'll let you know.
All right. Sounds good. To be announced on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So with that, everybody have an awesome Monday, safe rides home, and I'll see you Wednesday possibly.
Bye.
Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.